guys, it's Jessie. So today I am here to share with you a book review on a series that I've read recently and absolutely loved. And it is Between Shades of Grey and Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. My heart was so heavy after finishing both of these. I had to wait days before I could even wrap my head around what I was feeling or comprehend my thoughts, anything like that. I could not get out a decent sentence about anything, whether it was on a computer or paper, and I just struggled constantly trying to figure out what happened. It also took me several days to get over these books and be able to pick up another one. Can we say major book hangover? I was extremely sad, and yet both of these were so beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first book, and we'll work my way to the second book and then do a little overall of everything towards the end. So I hope that you will hang in there, and I will try to make this as quick and spoiler-free as possible. Between Shades of Grey is about a girl named Lena and her family who are in Lithuania, and this is during World War II, and they are being evacuated. I can't even imagine being pushed out of my home and then a country on top of that. So it just still gets to me. And this wasn't even the worst part of their journeys. We continue to follow Lena's journey on these trains and during different weather conditions and through these prison camps, and what comes to light is really awful. I felt so uneasy throughout this entire book, and what I did really like though was how well I connected with all of the characters, especially Lena. They felt so real, and it just made things that much worse. I was constantly left wondering what I would do in her situation. I really loved this story and how it was filled with so much love and hope and struggle, and yet the determination was incredible. I found myself sympathizing with Lena and her family and kept praying for things to change. But when they didn't, I began to build a wall around my emotions and kind of guarded myself, and it felt like I almost had gone numb until the very end. I felt really kind of warmed at the last little paragraph and the description of the sun rising. The way it ended left a really big smile on my face, and I gave this a 4 out of 5, but again, it was just really heart-wrenching and really difficult to swallow, and it kind of segues into the next book, so I will leave it at that. So, back into Salt to the Sea, we join 4 characters: Joanna, Florian, I believe is how you say it, Amelia, and Alfred, and they're all our main characters. They are all from different countries. They have no connections to each other. All we know is that they're trying to survive the war. This, again, is a historical fiction of World War II. All 4 of our main characters are just trying to survive the madness of the war. It constantly is just over the shoulder, and it feels like they are on the run, and they are just trying to get to this boat that will hopefully take them to freedom. This is where all of our characters become connected. At some point or another, whether it was on the journey to the boat or at the boat, their paths all connect. Like I mentioned, this is another World War II book, and unlike all the others, this one is so beautiful and it's haunting, and it is unlike anything that I've ever read before for this genre. I was completely invested in the characters right from the start. We also soon find out that Lena is actually Joanna's cousin, and I had no idea. I could not believe that this is what was happening. I didn't even expect these 2 books to be connected, and it was a really lovely surprise. I often found myself revisiting the opening lines of each character. I loved that each one was tied to a particular emotion and how their whole story kind of revolved around that same emotion. And I have no hesitation saying that Alfred was my least favorite character. He was creepy and unnerving, and I really did find myself wanting to skip his chapters because I just disliked him that much from the start and kept thinking it's gotta change, and no, it only got worse. My favorite characters, however, are much harder because I really wanted to love Joanne and Florian as my favorites, but Amelia just kept winning hands down every single time. I couldn't believe how much she went through and how she still had a positive outlook on things and people, and how she cared about all of the people around her, how strong she was and selfless, and throughout every single mishap that they came upon, she was just incredible and so strong and brave, and holy cow, this girl was amazing. The descriptions in this book were also so fantastic. There were so many lines throughout this whole book that I favorited. I will leave my top ones down below in the descriptions where you can find them, because there are just way too many to even try to list out, but they were so fantastic. I loved this book so much. It is my favorite book of 2016 so far. I just freaking loved it. As sad as it was, as disturbing as it was so, so good. And this definitely pushes out Before We Were Strangers and Me Before You, because those were probably my top 2 favorites as of the moment until I read this, and this has officially pushed everything out of the top. I think one thing I was a little bit frustrated with was the ending just like snuck up on you, and it did feel a little bit rushed. I found myself a little bit confused as to what was happening, whether it was reality or a dream, or like what the heck was going on. And I just wish that would have had a little bit more time to be like worked through, and it would have made me a lot happier to have just a tiny bit more time with it. But I really loved it, and it's not often that a sequel is better than the first book, but this definitely wins hands down. I definitely would give this a 5 out of 5. Alright, so still to this day, I am shocked that events like this really happened, and so surprised to find out that there's very little about this even out there. I know that we all learned about World War II in school, but I really don't feel like we ever got a good grasp on these other countries that were involved and just how much they all had to endure. If you haven't read the series yet, please do. They are absolutely amazing. I highly recommend them, and like I said, Salt to the Sea is so, so good and definitely wins for best book of the year so far, in my opinion. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope that you guys are interested in this series. If you haven't read it already, please try to keep the comments spoiler free. If you do want to chat spoilers, please direct message me on Instagram. Otherwise, if you have any questions or anything like that, please leave that below, and I would be happy to answer and chat with you. I want to thank Mimi and Allison for buddy reading this with me. I truly think you guys made this experience go above and beyond anything I've ever experienced before. This was the best buddy read I've ever had. I loved how we were always on the same page, the same thought wave, emotionally, everything like that. You guys just made this so much fun, and I loved it. Thank you so much. If you guys aren't following them, please do. I love these girls so much, and they definitely deserve your follow as well. Their information will be down below, so there's lots of goodies in the descriptions for you. Please check it out. Comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye. My least fairy still had a positive look on. Really go up